Good morning. And today I want to do this video based on the comments that Ryan Clark had against Cam Newton. And basically, this whole video is about the assessment of players in the NFL and is basically geared toward Ryan Clark and his comments made about Cam Newton. First off, the NFL is a business first, and sports second. The assessment of certain players in the league has become like really just kind of crazy because we're basing top 10 players not based on the actual play on the field, but based on popularity, like how popular they are, like how they look and how they dress, and it's like a big fashion show out here now. Or it's everything that we base top 10 players and things like just based on optics and not really what's happening on the field. So when we talk about the assessment of Jalen Hurts and Cam's comments, Cam didn't disrespect Jalen Hurts at all. He just basically told the truth. And I'm usually okay with what Ryan Clark says on a lot of things because the guy is very knowledgeable. Of course, he played in the NFL and all this other stuff. But what's disrespectful is to keep playing with people's IQ and their intelligence about football. That's what's disrespectful. And I get it. I understand. It's commonplace in a business or a corporation to cater to or to basically sell the NFL. So part of selling the NFL is the other stuff behind what happens on the field. I get it. I understand why Jalen Hurts is considered NFL like not a figurehead, but considered like the face of the NFL. I mean, I know why it's happening, but let's not insult the IQ of people who really know football and things like that. Don't disrespect us like that. And that's what's weird because I do understand that a lot of people are afraid to voice their opinion on certain things. Okay, here's my take on Jalen Hurts. This is my take. What I know about Jalen Hurts is I've been watching Jalen Hurts since when he was at Oklahoma, when he was at Alabama, and all this. And I haven't been impressed with Jalen Hurts for all those years. I've been watching him ever since then, and I haven't been impressed. What I do recognize is that he does have a skill set. His skill set is that he can run the ball really well, and we know that. And one other skill set he has a calmness that most quarterbacks don't have, which is understandable. I get it. And which of these are things that are essential in today's NFL. You got to be able to extend the play. Yeah, because you have the defenses are more athletic now. So you have to be able to extend the play, and you have to do things like that. So defenses are more athletic. You have to extend the play, and you do have to forget. You have to forget about the previous play. Those are his superpowers, okay? Those two things don't put him in the top 10. Everything that Cam said was absolutely correct. He wasn't hating. He was just expressing his opinion about a player. Now, to sit here and say that Jalen Hurts' top 10 is asinine. Let me tell you why it's asinine. It's because, number one, to say that someone is top 10 in any position would mean that you have to be top 10 stats-wise at your position. Okay, that's top 10. That means at your position, that means passing yards, rushing yards, completion percentage, touchdowns, all of those things as a quarterback, you would have to be QBR, all of those things would have to be taken into effect to be top 10. But we literally over and over again base top 10 based on team stats. See, here's the key to that. Team stats. We base top 10 on team stats. How do you do that? No one individual wins a game by themselves. No Super Bowl is won by one person. A team has to be assembled. That means as a team, offense, defense has to be assembled to win a Super Bowl. Okay, nothing that Cam said was wrong. If you look at the Eagles roster, I'm gonna undoubtedly say that the Eagles roster is the best assembled roster that I've ever seen in football. For the last 5 years, they have had 2 first-round picks. I'm gonna say for the past 3 to 4 years, they've had 2 first-round picks that in the draft that they've been able to assemble these drafts. Not only that, you have brought in some of the best free agents in football. I mean, let's start. AJ Brown. You bring AJ Brown in, who's that's a one-on-one nightmare. The guy's big. He's fast. He does that. Then you got I can't think of the other receiver's name. The one that they drafted from Alabama. He's fast, quick, and stuff like that. You have the tight end. You got 2 number 1 receivers. You might well say you got a 1A and a 1B at receiver. You have a great tight end. You have one of the best offensive lines in football. Okay, hands down, best offensive line in football. Okay, not to mention, and I'm gonna even tear the world up with this one. Let's take into consideration that even as good as their roster has been, they went to the Super Bowl, but they still didn't win the Super Bowl because they didn't have that one element, which was Saquon Barkley. Now, the argument is going to be that with Saquon Barkley didn't ever really do anything in the Giants. But here's the thing. You can't dispute Saquon's talent on the field. I mean, the guy is built like a tank, fast as hell. So that was the missing element to that. So you had a running back, great running back, tight ends, best offensive line in football, 2 wideouts, and you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you correctly assess a top 10 individual when he don't have to do anything? And even with all of that being said, the only impressive stat, the 2 stats that we talk about when we talk about Jalen Hurts is running, and the tush push. So with that being said, how can he be a great running quarterback with all of that stuff on the field? Answer that. If you put Joe Burrow, if you put Dak Prescott, if you put any one of these quarterbacks in that equation, with all of that talent on the field, do you think they're gonna they're gonna be one of the leading rushers in the NFL? We are literally saying somebody's in the top 10 based on the skill set. The skill set is just that he can run the ball. And he has a calmness. But I would be calm too if I had all that stuff on the field. I mean, literally, dude, Philadelphia a few years ago, they was literally about to run this kid out of the NFL, out of Philadelphia. But you know who the true MVP of the Eagles is? Howie Roseman. I have never in my life seen somebody wheel and deal as much as that man does and is able to put the teams together and retain good players for as long as he has. It is absolutely amazing to see somebody retain the players like he has, and not only and manipulates himself into the top in the top 10. I mean, in the first round, and having 2 picks in the first round for the past 3 years. It is absolutely crazy to imagine that the only person that seems like they had some sense in this situation is that Howie Roseman is the true MVP, because he realized that the quarterback that the NFL. Let's back up. Jalen Hurts didn't get paid because of his skill set. He got paid because he's good for the NFL. Doesn't get into trouble. Nice looking guy. Okay. He's good for the NFL. The image of the NFL. Okay. He's good for it. He didn't get paid just because of his stats. He didn't get paid for that. But the person who was smarter than anybody is Hiram Roseman. Hiram Roseman knew. Why do you think they put so hard against Saquon Barkley? Because the 2 years prior, they basically had the same team. The same team. In 2 years prior, you still didn't. You made it to the Super Bowl. Okay. But where did you make it to the Super Bowl? I ain't even talk about the defense. The defense was stacked too. So if you stacked on defense, stacked on offense, how can you be top 10 when you ain't got to do nothing but not make a mistake? Top 10 individual stats need to be based on what you do on the field individually. Your numbers have to reflect the top 10. What's getting old? It's almost like the whole Steph Curry conversation. Why are we putting people in the top 10 based on team accomplishments? The Eagles would win without Jalen Hurts. They would win. Let's be clear. As much as I hate the Eagles, I hate them, but I respect the game of football. Okay? Because I'm an NFC East guy. Okay? I hate the Eagles. I hate the Eagles with every ounce of my being. But I respect them. Okay? I respect the fact that what I see is you have an owner who wants to win. He wants to win. Okay? He wants to win. Then what you do is you turn around and you give your GM the keys to the car and say, hey, what I need you to do is I need to win Super Bowls. I want to win championships. So what does Howie Roseman do? Howie Roseman not only recognizes that he don't have to win with Jalen Hurts. He don't have to win with Jalen Hurts if he put people around him to make him a winner. You don't have to win with him. All you asking him to do is not making mistakes. But here's the thing. Even with all that being said, if you look at the stats, Jalen Hurts still fumbling the ball more than any quarterback that you ever seen. Those are turnovers, people. Interceptions, people. So it's not like he out there just having just one of the best things either. Here's the thing. I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I don't hate no good player. Am I saying that Jalen Hurts is a bad player? No, I'm not. I'm not saying he's a bad player. But the commentary and the coverage of Jalen Hurts is absolutely ridiculous. And we're literally basing it on the fact is, and with that being said, we want to act like that they've been running the NFC East. No, they haven't. They did last year. Okay, they did last year. So with that being said, they did last year because the Dallas Cowboys was decimated. Okay? They won last year because the Cowboys were decimated. Okay? In the times that they have gotten there, they've had an easier path to the playoffs than the Cowboys ever had. Okay? Both fucking times. And then when you go back to this year, if you look at the Cowboys schedule this year and you look at the Eagles schedule, how the hell did they get an easier schedule than the Cowboys? So when we sitting up here assessing what Cam Newton said, Cam Newton didn't say anything wrong. He was just basing it on an opinionated situation. No, Ryan Clark, I love you, bro. Hands down. But this one you're wrong. Okay, you're dead wrong. Bro, nobody's disrespecting Jalen Hurts. It's just people who have an opinion that's not afraid to say their opinion about a player. That because the coverage and the commentary about Jalen Hurts is it's not right. If you know football, you realize that this guy is average at best. Okay, average. Okay, we still got a guy that's been in the league for 5-6 years and he still can't make certain reads down the field. That is the reason why A.J. Brown and them, they're main. If you really want to beat the Eagles, stop the slants and the crossing patterns. That's it. But nobody picks that up because what we do is we focus on the tush push and we focus on the extending the play. Okay? But that doesn't make you top 10. That's the point. Like it's like we're literally basing everything. We're basing We're basing top 10 on team stats. We can't keep doing this in covering sports. If you put up the numbers individually, then that's what puts you in the top 10, not team success. And I don't understand how Brian Clark, you know the game. I don't know how you can, in good faith, sit up here and say the things that you said, knowing that that's probably one of the best assembled teams that you've ever seen. You don't have to win with a team like that. All you got to do is not make mistakes. And time again, this dude has either fumbled the ball or threw interceptions in crucial times. And the defense and the coaching staff had to bail him out. Okay, that's the way it always has been for the past about 5 years. So I don't understand how telling the truth is disrespect. Can you say that Jalen Hurts has been successful in the league? Of course he has. What he has done is he has minimized. I can't even really say that he's minimized. I can't say that he's minimized his contribution to not winning because I've watched the games. My team is in the NFC East. So I've seen him make mistakes. I've seen him fumble the ball. I've seen him have games where he fumbled the ball twice and threw an interception in the same game. So let's even make a rundown of the roster. Like I said, offense, you got 2 good receivers. You got a great tight end. You got an awesome offensive line. You got a great running game. Then if you go on the defense side, you got a top 10 D tackle. Okay. You got another great D tackle. You got great pass rushers. You got all-pro and Zach Bond at the middle linebacker position. You got 2 gems at cornerback. You got a top 10, top 20 safety. Bro, what more do you need? That's what I'm saying. It's weird. It's disrespectful. It's like when you sitting up here acting like he like Dak Prescott that had to play with a team that you had guys off the street playing wide receiver. And y'all was still running Dak Prescott through the mud as if like, oh, well, you got to put the team on his back. How can you put the team on your back and you ain't got nobody to throw to? It's just weird, bro. It's just like we literally get up here in front of TV and we sit here and we say all of this stuff sometimes, and we talk about people who played the game. And then you get up here and you make these type of accusations as if Cam hating. How is Cam hating by telling the truth? Like, it's weird, bro. Nobody's hating on Jalen Hurts. It just gets old with the commentary. It's just like with the same commentary is that Cowboy fans are delusional. Oh, my God. It's delusional. What fan doesn't want their team to go to the Super Bowl every year? What fan doesn't? That's the whole point. The point of playing the game is to go to the Super Bowl. What team doesn't want that? It is the weirdest narrative ever in life. It's like, you going to the Super Bowl. Who doesn't say that? And real fans recognize that we know, real fans know that we know what's going on in Dallas. We know. So to sit there and say we delusional with Stephen A. Smith with that goofy narrative that he got going on, come on, bro. We know why you do it. So sometimes, can you just tell the truth? Like, okay, if you want to keep with the goofy narrative, that's fine. But sometimes tell the truth. So it's just weird. Being disrespectful means telling the truth is not being disrespectful. It's just telling the truth. Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback. He's not. So the narrative needs to change in the way that we talk about sports and the commentary of that. Individual stats at your position determines whether you are top 10 or not. Winning games should determine the tiebreakers. if you and another quarterback is in the running for MVP and can't nobody finish, then now you go to the championships. Now you go to the wins and losses. But individual stats are what determine what an MVP is. You can't go in there and say, based on team stats, oh, he's an MVP because they won the Super Bowl. What does that mean? How many yards did he throw for? What was his QBR? How many turnovers did he have? You know, it's like, what are we doing? And it's like the game of NFL has become so Hollywood to the point to where we're literally giving MVPs to people that's popular. Prime example. If that was the case, if we're gonna say that he's top 10, we're gonna say that Jalen Hurts is top 10, then Lamar Jackson should win the MVP every single year. Every single year. Not just the years that he had one, but he should win it every single year. Because they're basically the same skill set. And if you really want to take it to a step further, he's more athletic than Jalen Hurts. Yet still, you know what? Because that Lamar Jackson looked like he on the block selling crack, because he looks like that, because he looked like he from the block, the NFL ain't gonna push him. But then, because Jalen Hurts look like Model Boy, oh, we gonna push him and we gonna say he top 10. They gonna say the league is gonna keep pushing that because he's pleasingly aesthetic. Therefore, we pushing it because humans are visual. We looking at the visual parts of it, but we ain't looking at the play on the field. So, if we're gonna talk about the truth, if Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback, then Lamar Jackson need to be the MVP every year. Every year, he should be the MVP. If we're going to talk about that, then we shouldn't have a question about Joe Burrow. We shouldn't have a question about any other quarterback in the league, because if it's just about that, then you know what I'm saying, that we're literally. Well, I'm sorry. We should have. Then Joe Burrow should be in the MVP every year. He should be. I said that wrong. Joe Burrow should be in the MVP running every year. And every other popular quarterback should be in the MVP running every year if Jalen Hurts is top 10. That's just bottom line. Because if we're going to say that Jalen Hurts is top 10, then why have stats? Because it's just a popularity contest. That's all it is. He's not top 10. I'm sorry. Nobody, so to get back to the point, Jalen Hurts is a good player. Nobody's taking anything away from him. He's not top 10. I'm sorry. He's a good player. I'm not going to say he's a good player. He's a serviceable player. And what makes him good is his skill set. That's it. The skill set. But when you look at the quarterback position, okay, the quarterback position is not a running back. And that's all Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts is a high-paid tailback. That's it. And for the record, the team and the organization has rallied behind that boy on several occasions. They paid the money, so they're going to rally behind him. But to sit there and say his top 10 that's what's disrespectful. What's disrespectful is taking an opinionated look or a take on something and then turning around and make it like they're hating because they have an opinionated take on it. That's what's disrespectful. To end this video, Jalen Hurts is not top 10. Ryan Clark, I love you, but your take was wrong. Okay? It was wrong. I get it. It was wrong. Cam Newton, bro, keep speaking on what you believe and don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Say what you're going to say, because I'm going to stick to mine. Until he show me otherwise, I don't want to hear it. If you go out there, until Jalen Hurts show me otherwise, I don't want to hear it. He will never be top 10 in my book while you got all that talent around you. How we even having that conversation when you got all of that talent around you? Stop. The true MVP of the Eagles, and I will say this and I will live by it, is Howie Roseman. That's the true MVP. So if you want to talk about MVPs in Philadelphia, Howie Roseman. Y'all have a good day.